friends, it's Deanna here today, and I am super excited about today. Today we're going to be working on a doll pattern set. I love this because I love being able to use my scraps and make something super cute that I can give away or even sell if you have like a shop or something like that. And I just love working with small pattern pieces. I don't know why, I think they're super cute. So this pattern set includes the Go Exploring Cardigan and the flare and fitted pants. Now both of these patterns are available in kid sizes, so you can make the kid size and also make the doll size to go along as a cute little present set. Adorable. So let's get started. All right, so I'm making cuffs, I'm making all the pockets because I wanted to show you just how cute and easy these are. So I'm gonna start by grabbing my pockets. I have my pocket lining and my pocket outer, and I'm gonna place my lining and my outer right sides together, and we're gonna sew that top seam together to create like the little pocket area, because then we're going to attach that to the front of our cardigan. So I'm just really quickly going to sew that top piece. All right, now once that's sewn, we're gonna turn them around and steam them, and you can top stitch right here if you want to give it that top stitch look. I am just gonna omit the top stitching, but you can either top stitch with your sewing machine with a stretch stitch, or if you have a cover stitch, whatever you want to top stitch. And actually you can even do a straight, don't tell anyone, but you can even do a straight stitch on that because it's really just a doll pocket. The only thing is, if you stretch it too much right here, it will pop the stitches. So you want to make sure that you use whatever you want to use, something that either stretches, or if you do a straight stitch, just keep in mind that if a child is trying to stick things in there, it might pop the stitches as it stretches. All right, then we're going to grab our front pieces. Now our front pieces are the ones that have, they're facing each other like so. And we're going to grab those pockets and we're going to place them right over, aligning them at the bottom and at the sides. And then you can go ahead and top stitch around. Don't top stitch at the top because that's obviously where the hand is going to go in when you place stuff in there. I am actually not going to top stitch right now because I am bad, and I'm going to move on to the next step. But top stitching helps you when you're sewing both the back and the front together for this not to move around too much and mess up. And then, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab my back and I'm going to match the shoulder seams, right sides together, and sew that. All right, now we're going to attach our sleeves by opening our cardigan, and we've got the arm side right here, and on the other side, we're going to grab our sleeve. And what I like to do is I like to mark the top of our sleeve. I like to use like little snips to just kind of mark it. There's the top, and what we're going to do is we're going to grab our sleeve and face it right sides together, first at that shoulder seam where we made that mark, and go all the way down, touching right sides together to the edge of the sleeve. And then do the same thing going the other way. And then do the same thing for the other sleeve as well. Now, because I have clips and they attach really nicely, I'm gonna go ahead and clip also my cuff now. Because this is such a small arm sleeve, if you're doing the cuff, you may want to go ahead and attach the cuff first before you sew it together. Because then, if you don't do that, then you have to attach it on the round, you know, like sew it together and then attach it around, sew it around, and that gets really tricky when it comes to doll patterns because they're so small. So as you can see, they're a little bit shorter, which means that you're just stretching it to fit, because that's how it's going to cuff that seam. Now if you're doing short sleeve, obviously you don't have a cuff, so you don't have to worry about this, but you can go ahead and hem it first if you wanted to. So what we did is we folded the cuffs wrong sides together. And you can find the half of the cuff and match the half right here and then split. Because it's so small, I just went from the one edge and then I pulled it to the other edge. And then that's how I found, you know, how big it was supposed to be, because then I pull it again and I just kind of match my middle. Make sure that they're even and then match my middle. So then when I'm sewing it on, I'm just gonna kind of tug at it so that it fits evenly. All right, it's turning into a cute cardigan. Now what you can do is you can go ahead and steam that seam, and you can top stitch if you'd like, but I am not top stitching. I'm moving on to sewing my sides. Oh, this is gonna be adorable. And when I'm sewing my sides, I'm gonna match up right sides together here at that armpit seam, and then all the way down my sleeve, and make sure I match up those seams at the cuffs, that they're together right there, and all the way down. Now, because I didn't baste my pocket, I need to make sure that my pocket is nice and even at the edge, and that I catch it when I'm sewing. And that's one of the reasons why you want to baste your pockets. It just makes it easier, this step, when you're sewing, so it doesn't like fold under or something like that on you when you're sewing. But I am a risk taker, so I'm taking the risk. Let me know below what kind of person you are. Do you take the risk, or do you go ahead and baste? What do you do? You see how that pocket was folded down? If I'm sewing and that pocket gets folded down, I'm going to be very upset at myself. All right, so I'll be sewing those sides together. How cute is that going to be? All right, I'm gonna put that aside for a minute, and I'm also going to go ahead and prep my hood. I'm grabbing my hood liner and my hood outers, and I cut these, but there's a little piece right there, which is fine because I'm just putting them right sides together, and I'm going to be sewing the crown on. So like this area back here, which is the crown, I'm gonna sew it together, and I'm gonna do the same for my outer. Alrighty, how cute is this looking? Okay, right here there is going to be this tail. Now we do have a video showing how to tuck that tail in. Oops, caught on my dry skin. We can fold it in. That's what I like to do. I like to fold it into the seam and then zigzag stitch right there so it holds it down. Or you can use a tapestry needle and like weave it in, or just sew it in some type of way. It's up to you how you want to finish that off. Like I said, we do have a video showing how to do that, so you can go check that out. I think this is going to be so cute. I am loving this so far. I think it's going to be adorable. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hem. That's one thing I'm going to do. And I'm just going to steam a 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around. If you want to serge that bottom piece first, like finish it up first and then hem it, it is up to you. When I'm going through the curve, I usually like to kind of pull at it, and as you're steaming it, it kind of helps it sit. I just kind of pull at it to like make it do what I want it to do. That's my iron turned off, which I need to go turn it on so I can steam this. But I just wanted to show you, you kind of just tug at it, and then for hemming. So we'll hem that, and then we'll move on to, once that's hem, we're also going to grab our hood, and we're going to turn one right side out and one will stay inside out, and we're going to fit the right side out one into the inside out one like this. And you can go ahead and baste these two together. Actually, no, not like this. What am I talking about? Wrong sides together. Because what's going to happen is the band is going to go around the front. So you can go ahead and baste these two together, wrong sides together, so that you have your right side out here and then your right side on the inside as well. A lot of times you sew your hoods together at the face, wrong sides together, and then you turn it. But this, since it has a band, you don't do that. You're gonna sew the band on top of it. So if you wanna baste those together so it's easier to manage, you can go ahead and baste those around the edge. And then we're gonna grab our cardigan, And I'm gonna find my middle of my cardigan by grabbing my shoulder seams, folding together your shoulder seams, and going to the middle, and then I'm just gonna do like a little clip. And then we're going to grab our hood and we're gonna place it the right side of our hood, touching the right side of our sweater. And we're going to clip that hood on. It goes all the way to the edge. And then we're going to sew that hood on. Okay, I'm going to sew it on. And I'm also going to prep my band while I'm at it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my band and I'm going to fold it in half, right sides together. And I'm going to sew this edge on both sides to prep that band so that the edge is sewn together. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Right sides together and sew that edge. Let's go get all that done. All right, I get questions on this machine a lot. This is a cover stitch. That's what I'm going to use for hemming, but you can use any kind of stretch stitch on your sewing machine that you want to use. That will work just fine as well. I wanted to show you what the cover stitch looks like on the back. It leaves a nice little finished, and then on the front it's got the double stitch. All right, well, this is too adorable. I almost want this for myself. And you know what? I can have this for myself. This pattern comes in adult sizing as well. So you can do this and see how easy that's been so far. And we're almost done. You can do this in adult size as well. So we're gonna grab that right here, that band, and we're gonna turn that piece that we just sewed together. And you can use like a little tool, whatever tool you have, to like make sure the corners are poked out nicely. I'm just gonna trim this tail because I just don't like it. And the same on the other side. And then I'm going to find my half, and it might be easier if we just steam this. I'm gonna steam it folded. That way it'll lay nicer. All right, and I'm gonna grab the two ends and I'm gonna go towards the center, find my top center and mark it, because that's what's gonna go right at the top of our hood. So I'm gonna do it right side. So this is the right side of the whole hoodie, of the whole jacket. Oh my gosh, I am obsessed with this. This is just too adorable. And I'm going to place that mark right at the top where that seam is, where the two hoods meet, the liner and outer. Now remember, if you have, you could have basted them together so it's easier to sew. It's up to you. Then I'm gonna go all the way down to the edge and match it right sides together right here at that edge and make sure that they line up really nicely. And you can also baste that right there first, and that will give you a really nice edge here if you're worried about it coming off a little bit and not being quite straight. Then we're just gonna make sure that we even out the band all the way down. I don't know why I say downed, just down. And then we're gonna do the same on the other side. We're gonna go sew, and we are done with this beautiful cardigan I'm obsessed over. I wanna enlarge it. I wanna somehow make this my size because it is adorable. I wanna somehow shove myself into this little tiny little cardigan, but I know that ain't gonna happen. So I'm going to have to go make myself my own version of this cutest little thing. All right, friends, I'm over here at my sewing machine, and I'm gonna set my stitch to a zigzag stitch just to do those finishing touches, which is tucking in that tail, like I said. What I like to do is I like to bring it over on top of that seam and then just put in a zigzag stitch right there. That is it. And then I can trim it all up. And we are finished with that. And I'm gonna do that for all of them. Right here's the other one, and we'll be done. Y'all, I am obsessed. You have no idea. I just love how this turned out. I love how tiny it is. I just want to grab it and squish it, and I don't know. But I don't even have a doll. So either I'm going to go get myself a doll and be selfish, or I might give it to some little kid that will enjoy this little outfit so much more than I will. This is adorable. I can't get over it. Like, I keep looking at it and I'm like, this is just way too cute. Exciting part, you could make this yourself because there is an adult version, and you could also make this for your kids because there is a kids version. So go do that. Okay, now I'm gonna grudgingly put this aside and just sit it right here so I can stare at it the whole time. Ah, I love it. And I'm going to work on our flare pants. Now, I am doing the straight leg version. If you want to do the flared version, even with the insert, we do have a video tutorial of the kids version, which is the same exact thing. So right today, I'm just going to go for the easier one, just to get it done and go quickly and show you so you can see it on here. But if you're not making the pants, then you can just be like, okay, peace, see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my front pieces, and they have this little faux placket right here, faux fly, I'm sorry. And here it is on the pattern. I'm going to fold that down on the pattern, and I'm gonna place it right on top of my fabric cut out already. And I'm gonna grab like a water soluble pen or a marker, whatever you wanna use that's gonna water washable. And I'm going to mark where that fly is right there. I'm gonna do the same thing for the other side, where that fly is supposed to be. And then I'm gonna make another line 1/4 inch away from that fly. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it not only at the fly area, but all the way in. So like starting at the crotch area, I'm going 1/4 inch all the way around and 1/4 inch away from that fly. I don't know if you can see that, but there's now 2 lines, one right where the fly is, and then one 1/4 inch away from that. So that's just kind of giving you a marker right here to help you. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side, on the other fly. All right, now what I'm going to do, actually, yes, that was on the wrong side. Oh, I didn't mention this. Make this line on the wrong side of the pant, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab them and put them right sides together. And you can see on the wrong side of the pants, you can still see the line. And honestly, I think this is the right side of the pant. So I just made a mark on the wrong side of the pant, on the right side of the pants, but that's okay because this is water soluble, so we're just going to delete it. And I really only have to make it on one side because we're going to put them right on top of each other, and I'll be sewing one on the one side. All right, 1/4 inch. I don't even measure a lot of my measurements because I already know what 1/4 inch is. But if you don't know what 1/4 inch is, definitely measure that. Okay, so we've putting it right sides together now. And then I'm gonna top stitch right with my sewing machine. I'm just gonna make a stitch right over that 1/4 inch allowance seam right here, or mark right here. I wanted to show you all a little close up. See the little line? This is the fly line. This is 1/4 inch, and we're gonna sew right at that line. All right, I wanted to show you in a close-up. What we're going to do is we're going to trim right here where the fly goes in, and we're going to go pretty much all the way to where the thread comes, but don't cut the thread. And you can go ahead and actually finish this up together, both of these, so that they stay together, they don't split like that, and so that they're finished off. So let me go do that real quick, and then we'll show you what the next step is. Okay, once it's finished, we're going to open this up and fold that full fly over towards the left side of our pants. And then from the right side, we're going to stitch around that fly. So like the outer edge, we're going to do a little stitcheroo right here, like shoop. And if you are kind of worried about how to do that, you can go from this side and put in a basting stitch right along that edge. Just baste it down and then turn it around and use that basting stitch to kind of help guide you where you're going. So let's go do that. All right, there is our little faux fly, super cute. Then we're gonna turn it to the wrong side, and we're going to make all these threads go over to the wrong side, to the left side. And we can go ahead and top stitch right there to give it like a top stitch look right here. Or, you know, you can leave it. It's really, it gives it like a really nice real pant look. But I'm just going to move on to the next step because it is a doll pant and I think it'll be super cute anyway. We're gonna grab our pocket facing now and we're going to grab that right side of the fabric and we're gonna put it along the raw edge of the pocket. I'm gonna do that on both sides. All right, now we open it up and we can go ahead and understitch if you wanna flip that seam down and stitch it down to keep it from lifting up. But that's optional as well on these pants. We're gonna go ahead and grab our pocket lining and we're gonna place it right sides together on top of that pocket. And sew the outer edge. All right, so now we can go ahead, I have all these little threads everywhere, but we're gonna fold this pocket in like so. You can see now there's a little pocket and you can see the two sides, one side up here and one side right here on the side and one on the top. And you can go ahead and baste those sides down so that way your pocket won't move. I'm just clipping them right now, the other side as well. They're gonna come in. Here's the pocket, we're just sewn, so we're just flipping it to the back so that you have that pocket in there. Super cute. So this is what it looks like on the back. So you can go ahead and baste those down if you want. Now for the back pieces, I've got my two backs and I've also got my yoke right here, my yokes, and we're gonna put them together. So this is my right side, this is my center right here. The higher part is my center back and that's gonna go right over. So we're gonna flip it right over my bottoms. And I'm doing more of a close-up on this one because of the fact that the color is the same. I'm using the same color, so I want you to really be able to see what I'm doing rather than seeing my face. You probably care more about the pattern than my face anyway. So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and sew that seam right there. All right, now we will open it and we can steam. And if you wanna top stitch that down, you can. It is up to you. Top stitching does really give it like a really nice finished look. More like a jean, you know, like jeans and pants have those top stitching lines, like right there. So you can go ahead and do that, it's up to you. But then after we do that, we're gonna grab our pieces and we're gonna place them right sides together and sew that crotch seam right along there. All right, so now it's sewn, you can steam it. And then you can top stitch it if you would like. And now we're gonna move on to pockets. Now y'all, I am my own person. And honestly, if you go look at my video, the video where I did the kids pattern, we go ahead and actually hem right here and top stitch the one edge. And then we hem at a 1/4 inch, not hem, but we like flip and get it ready, a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. But I almost feel like I would just want to sew them on without doing all that because they're such little tiny pockets. I don't want to go through all the trouble of, you know, doing the hem allowance and all that, the things that come with it. So it really is up to you. You can trim this down like a 1/4 inch and I won't tell anyone if you won't, and we can just stitch them on. They are knit, so they're not going to fray out, but honestly that's up to you. If you want to see how I do this pocket on with actually hemming, you can go check out that sewing tutorial where really we're just putting interfacing, we're folding the top part down and top stitching it. And then I did the other triangle pockets, but for these ones, you put in a basting stitch around the bottom edge. And when you pull that basting stitch, it brings it all kind of in like this, and it's so much easier to hem. So then you would fold the steam, just like steam it down, and then put it right on here when it's already all edged out. But like I said, these are so little, I might just trim them, trim that 1/4 inch seam allowance, and just top stitch them down. What are you gonna do? Tell me in the comments what you're gonna do. All right, here I am being a bad influence. They have been trimmed out and they were positioned where they're supposed to go. And I am just gonna head over to my machine and top stitch along the edge like so. Obviously not at the top, because you know we want kids to be able to put fun things in the dolls' pockets. Or you know, if the dolls do happen to come alive at night and want some nice pockets on the back, now they have them accessible. That was weird, I guess. All right, let's go top stitch that. Now, see how the front looks raw still? You could have, before you attach them, you could put a stitch right there so that it looks the same, but it really doesn't matter to me. I'm good with the look like this. I'm just basically lifting the foot a little bit as I'm turning to help me give it a little bit more of a turn. I am not moving them a whole lot, just a little bit. All right, see, they look cute. And that was so much easier than doing all the other steps. So what we're going to do now is we're gonna grab our pants. I'm gonna put this right here. This is my front piece. Remember, those pockets are still tucked in. They could be basted down on the sides. I'm gonna grab my back piece, and I'm gonna place it right on top, and we're gonna match that seam at the crotch. Now again, I am not doing the flare, the inserts, which I did do on the kids version. So I'm matching, let me tell you this, I'm matching right sides together along the inner seam, and we're gonna sew that. And since I'm not doing the flare, I'm gonna go ahead and also match the outer seams and sew those outer seams, the side seams. Now remember that your pocket needs to be, make sure that you catch your pocket at the sides so that they get caught in there. So like right here, make sure that you're catching those pockets. Now, if you want to sew this first and then steam it and top stitch it, like if you've been top stitching everything else, you can do that. I am not. I'm just kind of gonna keep going without the top stitching. I did top stitch my kids version all the way because I don't know, I just wanted to top stitch those, but you can either do the top stitching or omit it. It's up to you. All right, so we're gonna go sew those up, put that aside, and we're gonna grab our waistband. And what I'm doing is I'm just folding it. First, I'm gonna give it a memory crease. I'm gonna fold it wrong sides together and give it that memory crease. And then I'm gonna fold it right sides together and sew that raw edge right there. All right, I was pretty obsessed with that Go Exploring, but I am so obsessed with these as well. These are turning out super cute. Look at the little pocket. Oh my word, these are adorable. All we've got left to do is do this yoga waistband, which we're just gonna go ahead and fold right over where we made that crease already. And I'm just going to clip here on the back, and then I'm going to fold them and then go to the front. And I'm gonna mark by nipping a little bit right there and still grab my pin. And then I'm gonna match the front and back. And I'm gonna go to the sides, and these are my quarters. Then I'm going to go ahead and match those quarters to my actual pant, right sides together. So like right here at the center, that's my front. And then right here at the back, that's my back, obviously. And then I've got the two sides. And when we're sewing this on, we're going to just stretch lightly to fit the waist. And we're gonna make sure that those pockets get cut right there, those pockets that are sticking straight up. So make sure, if you didn't baste like I did, I didn't baste, make sure that you, when you're sewing them on, you catch that pocket and it doesn't fall down and come off when you're sewing. And then we also need to hem and we'll be done. So I'm going to also go ahead and hem on my cover stitch, that 1/2 inch seam allowance, and we're super excited. Y'all, how cute! Look at these. The little pockets, the little back pockets. These are adorable. And with this little jacket, the Go Exploring, I am so obsessed with this. This is super, super cute, and actually wasn't even that hard, especially if you're like me and cut the little corners when it comes to the little pants. But they were so cute, so simple. The best part is you can make this exact same outfit for your little one, because these patterns come in kids sizes as well. And the Chapman, I said Chapman cardigan. We also have the Chapman cardigan, which is different than the Go Exploring. The Go Exploring cardigan comes in adult sizes as well, so you can make that with us. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Go grab this pattern, make it for a little one. It doesn't even have to be your little one. It could be for a friend's birthday party. And go sew them up. Comment below and let me know if you enjoyed this tutorial, and let me know if you kind of follow along and skip the little steps. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. Bye.